Have you ever wondered why you feel weaker in the morning, despite sleeping for 7 or 8 hours? Maybe your legs feel like jelly when you get out of bed. Or you notice your arms don't quite have the same strength to lift your coffee mug. You may have brushed it off as getting older. But what if I told you this could be a sign of something entirely preventable? Here's a disturbing truth. If you're over 60, your body might be quietly losing muscle mass every single night, not during workouts. Not while watching TV, but while you sleep. And it's not your fault. This loss is subtle, silent, and devastating over time. But there's good news: you can stop it. In fact, you can reverse it, starting tonight. This episode is brought to you by Senior Mental Health, your go-to channel for aging smarter, staying stronger, and living fuller lives after 60. Let's dive deep into what's really happening when we close our eyes, and what one simple change in your evening routine can do to rewrite your body's destiny. Blank. As a physician with 30 years of experience in geriatric medicine, I've seen a recurring pattern among patients. Many report feeling weak in the morning, stiff joints, or low energy despite adequate rest. At first, you might think they're not sleeping well, but even those with perfect sleep habits suffer. Why? Because muscle breakdown, scientifically known as catabolism, accelerates at night. Especially in older adults. After dinner, the body enters a fasting state. You go hours, sometimes 10 to 12, without food. During this time, the body still needs amino acids to carry out repairs and fuel the organs. If it doesn't get them from food, it gets them from the muscles. That's right, your own body cannibalizes muscle tissue to survive. And after 60, this process is worse because of something called anabolic resistance, the reduced ability of muscles to absorb and utilize protein effectively. Most people don't realize that their body continues to work at night. Your heart pumps, your brain processes memory, your skin regenerates. But for muscles, this is the window when healing, repair, and growth should occur, provided the body has the right fuel. Let me put it into perspective. Imagine your muscles are like a construction site. The crew is ready to repair damage from the day, build stronger walls, and reinforce weak beams. But when night comes and they check the supply room, there's no material. What do? They take bricks from one wall to patch another. That's what happens during catabolism. Your body breaks down muscle to fuel itself. Now, you might think, but I eat enough during the day. That's a valid concern. However, in older adults, anabolic resistance makes protein absorption less efficient. So even if your daily protein total is technically enough, it might not be reaching your muscles when they need it the most. In younger individuals, protein is like a text message, delivered fast and received clearly. But in older adults, it's more like sending a letter through the post, slow, sometimes delayed, and not always opened. This is why timing becomes crucial. And nighttime is often the most neglected part of the dietary cycle. Let's consider the average routine of a healthy 65-year-old. Dinner at 6:30 p.m., bed by 10 p.m., breakfast at 7 a.m. That's over 12 hours without food. During that period, the body is in a catabolic state. Without a protein source, it turns to muscle as its emergency fund. Think of your muscles as a retirement savings account. Every night you don't eat right, you make a withdrawal. And just like finances, consistent withdrawals without contributions will leave you depleted. Clinical research supports this. A study published in the Journal of Aging Research in 2021 followed 120 men and women aged 62 to 78. Half were instructed to consume a protein-rich snack within 1 hour before bedtime, while the other half fasted after dinner. After 12 weeks, the protein group preserved nearly twice as much muscle mass. Even more impressive, they reported better balance, fewer nighttime cramps, and increased morning alertness. The lead researcher, Dr. Helen Carter, summarized it best. It's not just about total protein. It's about timing. Eating protein before bed gives your muscles the ammunition to repair and grow while you sleep. This isn't theory, it's biochemistry. During deep sleep, particularly stages 3 and 4 of non-REM sleep, the body releases growth hormone, a critical compound that stimulates tissue growth and muscle repair. But without available amino acids in the bloodstream, that growth hormone has nothing to work with. It's like having a factory turned on, machines running, but no raw materials to produce anything. Now let's explore how this impacts daily life. Patients who neglect nighttime nutrition often report unexplained falls, fatigue climbing stairs, and slow recovery from minor injuries. But when we review their habits, it's not a lack of exercise, it's a lack of post-dinner fuel. In clinical settings, I often test for grip strength and leg extension force. These are strong predictors of longevity. Patients who add pre-bed protein see improvements in both within weeks. It's not magic, it's muscle science. Interestingly, the type of protein also matters. Fast-absorbing proteins like whey spike quickly and taper off, but slow-digesting proteins, such as casein found in dairy, release amino acids over 6 to 8 hours, perfect for overnight coverage. An important distinction needs to be made here. This isn't about overeating or midnight snacking. We're not talking about ice cream or chips before bed. This is strategic nutrition, consuming the right type and amount of protein to support your body's most important nightly job, regeneration. Let's look at a hypothetical case. Linda, 70, eats well and walks daily. Yet she wakes up with tight calves and aching thighs. Her lab results show normal B12, iron, and hydration levels. We ask about her eating window. She stops eating at 6:30 p.m. and has tea before bed, nothing else. We suggest half a cup of Greek yogurt with chia seeds at 9 p.m. Within 3 weeks, she notices reduced stiffness, better sleep, and improved mood. These aren't isolated incidents. Numerous patients report similar improvements once they change their evening intake. This leads us to redefine aging. The traditional view suggests inevitable decline. But what if we looked at aging as a phase of smarter adaptation? You adapt your home with grab bars and better lighting. Why not adapt your nutrition? The truth is, aging muscles need more protein, more often, and at the right times. Especially at night. We must also consider the emotional side. Seniors often eat less at night due to reduced appetite, fear of weight gain, or digestive issues. But when you explain that a small serving of the right food can preserve strength, increase independence, and even improve sleep, many are willing to try. Even better, once they start feeling stronger, their confidence increases. They walk further, they lift more, they fall less. The psychological impact of physical strength cannot be overstated. Feeling strong makes you feel capable, and feeling capable can transform mental health. That's why we say, strength is not just a physical state. It's a mindset. So if you've been waking up feeling less than yourself, the answer might not be more sleep, it might be smarter sleep. Sleep supported by nutrition. Sleep that builds rather than breaks you down. We're not aiming for perfection. We're aiming for consistency. A spoonful of almond butter, a small shake, a cup of cottage cheese. These are minor changes that can yield major returns. Muscle doesn't vanish in a day, and it doesn't rebuild in one either. But every night offers an opportunity to repair, to grow, and to reclaim strength you thought was gone. And the best part? You don't need a gym, a trainer, or a supplement subscription. You just need to eat wisely, intentionally, and at the right time. Because your body hasn't given up on you. Don't give up on it. Blank. Blank. Thomas, a retired high school teacher from the quiet suburbs of Ohio, walked into my clinic with a mix of confusion and frustration etched on his face. He was 68 years old, trim, and soft-spoken, the kind of man who still mowed his lawn and attended his grandchildren's soccer games every weekend. On the surface, Thomas seemed like a model of healthy aging. He walked for at least 30 minutes daily, followed a reasonable strength training routine twice a week, and maintained a balanced diet. Yet, he couldn't shake the fatigue in his legs, the soreness in his joints, or the slow decline in his ability to climb stairs. He explained that his morning routine had changed. He was waking up feeling heavier, slower, less steady. Getting out of bed took more effort, and he occasionally noticed a subtle shakiness in his stride that hadn't been there a year ago. He wasn't experiencing any major medical issues. His blood work came back normal. There were no vitamin deficiencies, no markers for autoimmune conditions, no thyroid imbalance, and no signs of anemia or chronic inflammation. What puzzled him, and frankly, what puzzled me initially, was that he was doing everything right. But here's where experience and pattern recognition come in. I asked Thomas to walk me through his daily schedule, mealtimes included. That's when a glaring gap appeared. His last meal was dinner at around 6 p.m. Then, nothing until breakfast at 8 a.m. the next day. That's 14 hours without any nutritional intake. And crucially, 8 of those hours spent in bed, during which his body entered a state of prolonged fasting. For someone his age, this wasn't just a benign fasting window, it was a muscle-wasting window. This wasn't new territory for me. The body continues to require amino acids for tissue maintenance and repair during sleep. In younger individuals, muscle protein turnover can compensate during fasting windows. But in seniors like Thomas, this is a recipe for overnight muscle catabolism, slow, steady, and silent. I proposed a simple intervention. A small serving of Greek yogurt, about half a cup, taken 30 to 60 minutes before bed. This wasn't just a snack, it was a therapeutic protocol. The Greek yogurt was chosen specifically for its high casein content, a slow-digesting protein that releases amino acids into the bloodstream gradually over several hours, sustaining muscle tissue throughout the night. Thomas was skeptical. He had grown up in a generation wary of eating before bed. He believed it might disturb his sleep or cause unwanted weight gain. But with some gentle reassurance and clear explanation of the science behind it, he agreed to try the routine for a month. 4 weeks later, Thomas returned with a noticeably different posture. He smiled more. He described waking up with significantly less stiffness in his legs and fewer aches in his back. More importantly, he said he felt more stable. His gait had improved, something we objectively confirmed by retesting his timed walking test. He showed an 11% improvement in gait speed. An 11% increase may not sound groundbreaking, but in clinical terms, it's a meaningful change. Gait speed is directly correlated with mortality risk, fall likelihood, and overall functional independence in seniors. That kind of improvement is a shift in trajectory, from decline to renewal. The success of Thomas's case is echoed by broader scientific literature. Multiple studies have confirmed that nighttime consumption of high-quality protein, particularly casein, enhances overnight muscle protein synthesis in older adults. These gains occur without the need for intense physical exertion, though exercise can amplify the results. In fact, a landmark study conducted in 2019 followed 80 participants aged 65 and over. They were divided into 2 groups. One consumed a casein-rich snack 30 minutes before sleep, while the other consumed nothing after dinner. After 8 weeks, the casein group showed better lean muscle preservation, less morning fatigue, and superior results in strength retention tests. Thomas's outcome wasn't luck, it was physiology in action. There's another often overlooked benefit here: psychological confidence. When Thomas began to feel physically stronger in the morning, he began to act like it. He was no longer tentative on the stairs. He no longer avoided taking the longer route during his walks. He began stretching in the morning and felt more capable of reintroducing low-impact resistance bands into his exercise routine. Muscle strength is more than biological. It influences how we perceive ourselves. When you believe your body is growing weaker, you behave cautiously. You reduce your activity. You adopt a mindset of fragility. But when you feel stronger, you behave with greater confidence, energy, and optimism. In this way, nighttime protein didn't just help rebuild Thomas's muscles, it helped rebuild his identity. This case also underscores an important teaching point when assessing muscle decline in seniors. The question shouldn't just be, are you getting enough protein? It should also be, when are you getting your protein? The timing of nutrient intake, particularly protein, plays a critical role in how effectively the body can use it to maintain tissue integrity. Thomas's case reveals the importance of small, strategic dietary modifications. We didn't overhaul his lifestyle. We didn't put him on supplements or high-impact exercise programs. We simply adjusted one detail in his nightly routine, and the results were profound. This isn't to say that every senior will respond identically. Some may require different protein sources. Others might have lactose intolerance and need plant-based alternatives like soy yogurt fortified with protein. But the principle remains the same: the body cannot build without building blocks. And when those blocks are missing for 12 to 14 hours overnight, something has to give, and that something is usually your muscle. Let's take this one step further. In subsequent appointments, we began adding variety to Thomas's bedtime intake. Some nights he had a tablespoon of almond butter on a rice cracker. Other nights, a small hard-boiled egg. These options were designed to provide complete protein, maintain slow digestion, and avoid blood sugar spikes that could disrupt sleep. Not only did Thomas continue to improve physically, but he also began sharing his experience with friends. Eventually, a few of them, fellow retirees, showed up at my clinic asking about that yogurt trick. This ripple effect is exactly what we need in community health for seniors: low cost, low barrier interventions that spark engagement, accountability, and measurable change. It's worth noting that nighttime nutrition isn't just about protein. Other nutrients, like magnesium, zinc, and tryptophan, also play a role in muscle recovery and sleep quality. In Thomas's case, Greek yogurt provided tryptophan, which helped him fall asleep more easily. That improved sleep in turn created a better hormonal environment for muscle repair. It's a positive cycle. Better fuel leads to better sleep, and better sleep supports better muscle metabolism. We live in an age where aging is often associated with inevitable decline. But Thomas's case reminds us that decline is not destiny. With the right knowledge and the right actions, we can redirect that narrative. Let me leave you with a final thought from our follow-up appointment at the 3-month mark. Thomas walked in, holding a journal. He had tracked how he felt every morning: energy level, soreness, stability, mood. He flipped to a page and said, "I didn't expect this to work, but now I can't imagine going to bed without it. I finally feel like I'm rebuilding instead of falling apart." That statement, more than any data point or clinical trial, captures the essence of this approach. Small change, big return, not just on charts, but in life. So when you consider your own nighttime habits, ask yourself, am I giving my body the tools it needs to restore itself overnight? Or am I leaving it to fend for itself? Your answer might just change your morning and your future. These 8 foods aren't just tasty, they're powerful. Each one has been studied, tested, and shown to make a real difference in the lives of seniors seeking to maintain strength, stability, and independence. Whey protein shakes take the top spot. And for good reason. They're rich in leucine, an amino acid that acts as a catalyst for muscle protein synthesis. Whey is also fast absorbing, meaning it hits the bloodstream quickly and gets to work right away. One clinical trial published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2021 showed a 22% increase in overnight muscle synthesis among older adults who drank a whey shake before bed. For those with lactose intolerance, whey protein isolate or hydrolyzed versions are available and easier on digestion. Cottage cheese might seem old-fashioned, but its slow-releasing casein protein makes it a nighttime powerhouse. It gradually supplies amino acids throughout the night, which is ideal for long sleep intervals. Tryptophan, naturally found in cottage cheese, helps promote relaxation and better sleep. Pair it with banana slices or a sprinkle of cinnamon for added taste and a small boost in potassium and blood sugar regulation. Greek yogurt is another excellent bedtime option. It's triple-strained, making it denser in protein and lower in sugar than regular yogurt. The inclusion of probiotics helps support gut health, which plays a surprisingly large role in nutrient absorption and immune support. Calcium in Greek yogurt not only supports bone health but also aids muscle contractions. A small serving before bed can support a smoother sleep cycle and prevent early morning stiffness. Tuna in olive oil might not be the first snack that comes to mind before bed, but it deserves a place on this list. Tuna provides complete, high-quality protein, and when packed in olive oil, it includes healthy fats that slow down digestion. This keeps amino acids available longer during the fasting hours of sleep. Plus, the omega-3s found in both tuna and olive oil are anti-inflammatory and support joint recovery. Hard-boiled eggs offer a compact, highly bioavailable source of protein and leucine. They're also low in carbohydrates and won't spike blood sugar levels, making them a great option for diabetic seniors or those watching their intake. Easy to prepare, they can be seasoned with turmeric or black pepper to enhance their anti-inflammatory benefits. Eggs also contain vitamin D and choline, both important for muscle and brain health. Warm milk with turmeric is more than a soothing tradition. Milk provides casein and tryptophan, supporting muscle repair and restful sleep. Turmeric's active compound, curcumin, helps reduce inflammation that often accelerates muscle breakdown. A 2022 study found that older adults who added turmeric-infused milk to their nighttime routine experienced improved sleep quality and decreased joint pain. Almond butter combines healthy fats, plant-based protein, magnesium, and vitamin E. Magnesium is especially important for seniors because it supports muscle relaxation, helps regulate nervous system function, and reduces the likelihood of nighttime cramping. The vitamin E in almond butter aids cellular repair and combats oxidative stress. Just 1 tablespoon before bed can make a notable difference over time. Tart cherry juice rounds out the list. Known for its high melatonin content, it supports natural sleep cycles. It's also rich in antioxidants, particularly anthocyanins, which help reduce oxidative stress and muscle soreness. A 2019 study found a 33% reduction in morning soreness among older adults who drank tart cherry juice regularly before bed. Choose unsweetened, 100% tart cherry juice to avoid added sugars. What these foods all have in common is their ability to support the body's natural recovery processes while minimizing muscle degradation. They're practical, widely accessible, and most importantly, effective. When consumed as part of a consistent nighttime routine, they can help seniors maintain muscle mass, sleep better, and feel stronger, one night at a time. Maria was 73, a retired librarian and a grandmother of 5. Her days were filled with family visits, morning walks, and volunteering at the local community center. Yet, despite her active lifestyle, Maria had been dealing with persistent muscle cramping in her legs and sleep disruptions for over 6 months. The cramps would wake her in the middle of the night, leaving her exhausted in the morning and reluctant to move around too much during the day. She had tried magnesium supplements, stretching before bed, and even prescription sleep aids, but nothing brought lasting relief. It wasn't until she began a nightly ritual of drinking a warm cup of milk infused with turmeric that things began to change. This simple combination delivered 3 vital benefits. The protein from milk supported her muscle tissue. The turmeric reduced inflammation, and the warmth of the drink helped signal her nervous system that it was time to rest. Within a week, she noticed that her sleep had become deeper. After 3 weeks, the cramps had disappeared. She described her experience in one phrase: "I'm sleeping like a baby again." Her newfound energy in the mornings was evident. She resumed her gardening, started attending early yoga sessions, and even planned a family trip she had put off for years due to her nighttime discomfort. Now take Dennis. At 67, Dennis was recovering from hip surgery following a fall on an icy sidewalk. Post-surgical recovery can be long and difficult, particularly in older adults, where muscle loss accelerates during periods of immobility. Dennis had been diligent with physical therapy, but progress was slower than expected. That's when we looked at his nutritional intake. He had a solid diet overall, but his evenings were lacking in protein. We introduced a simple bedtime shake made with whey protein, high in leucine and easily digestible. It became a nightly habit. 2 weeks in, Dennis noticed he had less soreness and more strength during his PT sessions. Within 6 weeks, his physical therapist remarked that his recovery had progressed faster than typical cases. Dennis was walking unaided a full 2 weeks ahead of schedule. The power of these stories isn't just in their happy endings. It's in the reminder that small changes can yield powerful results. Maria and Dennis didn't undergo dramatic lifestyle overhauls. They didn't sign up for expensive supplements or extreme exercise regimens. They made simple, informed decisions about what they consumed before sleep. What do their experiences teach us? First, that nighttime habits matter far more than we often acknowledge. While much attention is paid to breakfast and post-workout meals, it is in the quiet hours of sleep that the body performs its most critical repairs. Feeding that process properly is essential, particularly in seniors. Second, they remind us that aging is not an irreversible descent. The body retains its ability to heal and rebuild, even in later decades, when given the right tools. Protein timing, anti-inflammatory nutrients, and sleep-enhancing foods can all act as levers to unlock strength and recovery. Lastly, they highlight the psychological transformation that follows physical improvement. Maria became more social and adventurous once her sleep returned. Dennis regained his confidence and independence as he recovered more quickly than expected. These mental and emotional shifts are just as important as muscle gains. It's easy to dismiss nighttime nutrition as minor, or to assume that 1 cup of milk or 1 protein shake can't possibly make a difference. But when you look at the physiology, the evidence, and the stories of people like Maria and Dennis, it becomes clear. The body never stops needing care, and it rewards those who give it consistent, thoughtful support. Every senior has unique needs, but the principle remains universal. You don't need to be perfect, just intentional. Whether it's a teaspoon of turmeric stirred into milk, a few sips of cherry juice, or a scoop of protein blended into a shake, these simple habits carry the potential to transform mornings and lives. Because sometimes, the difference between waking up weak or waking up well isn't found in the hours of sleep. It's found in what you do right before them. Aging doesn't mean declining, it means adapting. By simply changing what you eat before bed, you can transform your mornings, strengthen your muscles, and live more independently. Here's your challenge tonight. Choose one food from the list. Try it 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Track how you feel tomorrow morning. Share your journey in the comments. And remember, your age is not your limit. It's your superpower. Subscribe to Senior Mental Health for more insights, stories, and expert advice that helps you age strong. Stay strong, sleep smart. We'll see you in the next episode.